people are still writing new programming languages. Microsoft is going all developers again. And bots are apparently outnumbering humans on the web now. It's Friend and Fire. Let's get into it. I'm your host of the hour, Jack Harrington, on exactly 4 hours of sleep, and I'm with my friends Paige and TJ Van Toll. We're here to talk about all things Friend and Fire.
Hey, everybody.
Hey there. Glad you're here, Jack.
Glad what is left of me is here. 3-hour flight delay going from San Francisco to Portland for a 1.5 hour flight.
I do like your new jacket, though.
Oh my God, yes. So yeah, like the side story here is I was in San Francisco for Microsoft Build, which was unexpected because they were like, "Do you just want to come down and meet at GitHub?" I'm like, "Sure, okay." Yeah, I was figuring like a one-dayer kind of like conference room type deal, and then it's like, no, it's like Microsoft Build, and here's a custom jacket, and like I'll go through the whole thing once you get there. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, I gotta hear the story because you got some custom embroidery on that thing. Like this is legit.
Yeah, and it's got Microsoft in the back. And my wife's like, I could take that off for you. I'm like, no, that's fine. Like, not the front, obviously, but like the back. Oh, it's cool. It's like a Dickies. I've never had a Dickies.
Nice.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. We go with like a Carhartt myself, but that's just me. Okay. Lots of news this week. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Humans are finally getting outnumbered by bots, huh? Okay.
According to Cloudflare, at least. So this is an announcement from Cloudflare. Cloudflare runs this service, I guess, called Cloudflare Radar. They describe it as, I'll just quote from their site, a hub that showcases global internet traffic, attacks, and technology trends and insights. It is powered by data from Cloudflare's global network, as well as aggregated and anonymized data from Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1 public DNS resolver. So basically, they just make a bunch of aggregated data available from running their own infrastructure, because Cloudflare does have huge scale. And they added one new chart to Cloudflare Radar, and that is graphing bot traffic against human traffic. And what do you know, in an age of AI, the bot traffic has now won. It is now up to around 57% of web traffic as measured by Cloudflare, which they don't publish too much of their methodology. So we're somewhat taking Cloudflare's word for this a little bit. But
we take Cloudflare's word for everything. It's not like something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Cloudflare does run a service to help people block bots. This is very much in their business interest. They have a list of verified bots that they list out, everything from Google's crawler to the tools used by AI tooling, Perplexity, OpenAI, Anthropic, all of those folks as well. So there is reason to believe that this is at least directionally correct. And sort of anecdotally, we keep hearing more and more stories about content sites just getting completely inundated. We talked about Dr. Axel Roschmeyer last week, talking about how his traffic for his content sites bills were way up from bots attacking it. And so this kind of meshes with that as well. And I don't know too much what I think about this. I just thought it was really interesting data point just to share and talk about.
I mean, it's almost a little bit surprising, I think, that it took this long for somebody to come out and say it.
Yeah.
Because speaking from personal experience with the company that I work for, we use Grafana to do all sorts of logging and metrics and observability stuff for our applications. And even though most of our stuff is behind sign-ins, there are still a couple of things that are publicly available, like our marketing site and some documentation and stuff like that. And we're seeing the same thing. Like our site, it looks like almost like it's getting DDoSed sometimes with the amount of logs and traffic, and it's bots. It's completely bots. It's AI crawlers. It's stuff just constantly looking at files and clicking around and doing things, but it's definitely not people. And it's so much junk that gets in our logs because of it.
It's wild.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't have too much else to say about it. Just sort of FYI, maybe check your own logs and share with us. You've got me, Paige, really wanting to check Blues now, our
You
analytics.
should.
We
I'm sure
run a
it's
documentation
a
site that
mess.
is very content heavy, so I'm
Yep.
very curious now to look that up and see. But I guess just FYI, bots are taking over the web, whether which we
And
kind
make
of
sure
knew, but now
you're
we have some data behind it.
yeah, make sure your content's on a CDN, so you're not really paying for it. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So your bills
fast.
go down a lot at least.
Yeah. All right. So people are still writing new programming languages, really?
They are.
Oh my
There are a
God!
few
Can't we just
people who
stop?
are still in it for the love of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a new programming language that has come out, and it is called Jam. It is nice. It is short. It is written by the creator of Rio Terminal, which I am
I
not familiar
never
with,
heard of that one. Sounds
but
good.
apparently it's a well-liked open source something or other. And he wrote Rio Terminal originally in Rust, but because it is Rust, there is a steep learning curve for people who want to either add on to it, contribute to it. It's hard to learn, and it's even harder to write well. And that made open sourcing that difficult and getting people to actually contribute back to it. So this creator wrote Jam, which is a new programming language, and it's kind of like a mixture of all the things that are nice about various languages. So there's Rust like effects with memory safety. There is Swift inclusion with mutable value semantics and explicit mutation. There is Zig with language design and aggressive type interning. Elixir for pattern matching, and then JavaScript's familiar, approachable syntax and ergonomics. So all the things that he liked about these different languages all rolled into one, and good on him. I don't know if that's going to catch on. I don't know if anybody really cares about programming languages all that much today that are new and not LLM well trained, but there are still people who want to do it. So power to them.
I'm just
Yeah.
just having a look at this Rio terminal, and it's pretty cool, actually. I gotta say, although this is a documentation site that was clearly not English first, and it's funny the translations that have come out of this. Like, Rio is fast. Okay, all right, that's good. I like that headline, but like Rio is perceived fast. Okay, there's a difference there between those two things. And then I love that the renderer is called Sugarloaf, has a sugar architecture. I don't know what is sugar architecture. Created for minimal quick interactions in render steps using web GPU with performance at highest. So that maybe that's just really bad English or really bad translation into English. I'm not sure which, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. It doesn't really matter what it's written in. Yeah.
It's written in Rust, so it should be blazingly fast.
Yeah, it looks fast. I mean, it's perceived by me to be fast.
As for Jam, I mean, all power to people who want to go through these experiments, but I really don't understand creating new languages, especially in the age of AI, unless you have some really, really compelling reason to do so. And at least the previous language that we talked about, it was under the what was the name of Vercel's experiment? Why can't I remember this?
It was last week. We literally were talking.
I know it was literally last week.
Oh my God!
Hang on, let me find it. It was Zero Lang.
Oh,
Zero Lang. Anyways, shows how
I can understand why we couldn't remember that. To be honest with you, that's a really, really bad name. But whatever.
At least though, Zero Lang had a premise for why it existed. How much credence to lend that is debatable, as we debated last week. But at least it had a reason. For Jam, I don't know. I don't get it. For people that want to check it out, great. But I'll be focusing my time elsewhere.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when the Matrix sequels are actually like a new thing. I'm that old, and there was some like anime that went along with it, and like the anime was like the backstory of it, and the machine city was 01. And that seems like a better name for me for a language that's designed for a computer name. By a computer,
right?
Than Zero. I mean, it's binary, bro. You need two values, like, duh.
I was at the midnight showing of both Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. And I
Nice.
remember walking out of especially the third one and looking
You're
to my
like, what
friend
was
that I went
that?
to see it with and went, I think that was bad. Was that bad?
That
Because
was
like at the
it was nowhere
time,
near as bad as Matrix 4 though. Matrix 4 is a hot
yeah,
Yeah,
mess.
they should
uh,
not have done that.
Yeah.
one thing modern people, well, one thing younger people don't really understand is you used to be able to go to a movie and legitimately not know how good the movie was supposed to be. Like if you went to a
Mm-mm.
midnight showing, you had no clue. You were like the first
Well,
ones to
yeah,
see
because
it.
there's no reviews.
There's no
Right.
reviews. So,
Right.
so
If you're on if
nowadays,
you
by the time
premiere
you
midnight
walk
showing, yeah.
in, right, the day you walk in, you have an idea of whether people like it or not. You almost can't avoid it. But you used to have no
Mhm.
clue. You just walk in, and so you'd walk out of the theater and go, like, I don't think that was good. But you didn't know if it was just
Yeah.
you or not.
All you'd have was the trailers on TV, which were always the highlights of the movie that made it sound great no matter what it was. But yeah, you didn't know. You were just throwing caution to the wind.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, listen, the trailers for Revolutions, I guess, is the third one, were great. You got these freaking
Yeah.
bop, 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 like crazy mecha looking things. It looks great, And then you get to the theater and there's like Reloaded. You're like there's like a kind of like a rave thing going on. You're like, what am I watching? Like, what is this? Okay, yeah. And then there's 4, and that makes all of these movies look like cinema, like absolute cinema.
Just a cash grab. That's all it was.
I also think it might be an IP retention or something. Like the Wachowskis didn't want to give away the IP, and the studio was like, hey, you got to make this. We're gonna make this thing. It's either you or somebody else. And the
Yeah.
Wachowskis were like, okay, I guess we'll make it. And then I kind of wish they'd said somebody else, to be honest. I don't know what the heck was going on with that movie. Okay. Yeah. So speaking of not knowing what the heck was going on, Microsoft had its build conference this week, and I'm that not going on is simply my thing. I was asked, I guess again, hey, you want to hang out with GitHub? And it turns out it was going to be me and another, 5,000 people. But it was really cool, actually. Microsoft is kind of trying to redo its interaction with developers. So they picked a new city for Microsoft Build, an entirely new format for Microsoft Build, and it was not. I have actually been to old like .NET conferences back in the day when I was a .NET developer, and it was very kind of like, this is how you do programming nowadays. This for this year's .NET thing, and it was very that sort of thing, prescriptive and all that. This is much more like Microsoft is one among many. We just have to, we're just part of that ecosystem kind of thing. And so that was cool. And I thought that was really neat. And they brought in a lot of creators, and I was one of those folks. So yeah, they get me a schwanky, cool jacket and a bucket full of, tchotchkes, which was really cool. I never had that happen before. If you want to go to see the unboxing, my friend Angie, she's got an unboxing of it. I don't know. Are you guys like into that? Like, let us know also in Discord if you guys are into the whole unboxing thing, because I kind of find it like kind of Marie Antoinette. It's like, look at me, I got all this swag,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like it because it does feel very staged and fake and false. And
Yeah.
also, I don't need more crap, honestly.
No, I don't need it
Like,
either. Like, it get me, yeah. They got me like I think it's Pac-Man machine or something like that, like little mini arcade machines. No, it's Tetris, and it's like I don't know what I'm gonna
now
do
I have
with
to
it.
find some place to put this in my
Right?
house, which already has more stuff than it needs.
Yeah.
So being in DevRel, I have a whole thesis on swag and everything behind it. I will say for the unboxing thing, it depends on who's doing it. Most of them I find fairly cringy, but if it's the right person that can handle it the right way, I've seen some that have been done quite well. Because in a way, you're just sharing. Usually, it's something I couldn't participate in, but kind of wanted to, and somebody else is like sharing their experiences through it. And I think done right, it can be done well. And then from the swag point of view, every company I've worked for, including Blues, I've always pushed for swag that people could get use out of. So things like we gave away socks, gave away shirts.
There's a lot of socks, bro.
Magnets.
So
Too
many
many socks.
Oh my
Give
god.
me the good dev t-shirt. That's all I want is like the unique conference only branded dev t-shirts. Those are what I like.
Yeah,
At
I'm with
least though
you on
you
that
can
one.
use socks. I'm gonna defend
I
socks.
didn't know.
When socks go
I'm
bad.
gonna fight you on socks because I mean I go to
Really?
Costco and I buy socks by the bushel. Like I don't need more, and they really don't show well unless I'm gonna like be walking around in a very not good like shorts, Birkenstocks socks combo, which is not me, right? Then you're not like, but a shirt, like Paige is right, like a shirt, man, a shirt, like it reps the game, man.
Yeah.
It's like a tour shirt from a
So
rock concert.
speaking of which, I'm wearing a C# t-shirt right now. So
Well,
another
that
Microsoft
looks like it's
shirt.
done by hand.
So
Oh,
C
well, the way you were
C#
stretching it there made it look like it would, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So C#, and this is I the other thing I would fight for is high quality swag does a lot of good because I've never written more than a few lines of C# in my life. I'm not a C# fan, but Microsoft
That's a pity
made
because C#'s actually a really nice language, but okay.
it's a pretty good language, right? But Microsoft made a heck of a shirt here that I got as swag, and I wear this shirt all the time. This is like a 7-8-year-old shirt, and I
Yep.
keep wearing it. So
Yeah.
maybe you have a point. Shirts are the way to go. I will say
Buy a
shirts are
good
expensive.
shirt. But yes,
Yes.
I would rather you spend all of your swag money on a really good, soft shirt
Mhm.
than
Yeah.
some like, you know,
Yeah.
gas station toilet paper shirt that like is gonna, rub everything raw. No, please don't do
And
that.
and don't just print your company logo on it. Make it interesting. Like do
Yeah.
a cool little design because I will wear it out in public all over the place because it's comfortable and I like how it looks. Like make it stylish. Don't just put your logo on it.
I swear to God that Dino thing with the Dino dinos, and every time I go
Yes.
out in that sweatshirt,
Yes.
normies are like, I want that sweatshirt.
That's
'Cause
cute.
it's so cute and blah 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 blah. And you're like, and what is it? I'm like, you wouldn't
Yeah,
understand.
you wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
you wouldn't know. Like
But
it's
they
it's
still
a
like
thing.
it.
But they love it. Exactly. Literally, like waitresses are like, I love this. This is great. Like, okay, good. Yeah, good. Let me give you a couple 3 stories from the conference. One is about their new ultra new Surface thing that they were announced. This is kind of funny because I get there. I'm on the first day. There's literally they give you an agenda, and it's like, okay, breakfast is at 7. So I show up in the lobby at 7 of the hotel, and there's only one other person who's a content creator there, Brita. And so Brita and I are talking. I don't know her, she doesn't know me, but we're talking, and it's cool. Anyways, and a bunch of Microsoft folks, and they're like, okay, we're going. And I'm what? And we get in a bus, and then we go over to this Masonic lodge. Okay, and we go into this like weird Masonic like room with like Masonic artifacts and Masonic temple books and stuff. And I'm like, my dad used to be a Freemason. I'm like, this is some weird stuff going on here. Anyway, whatever. Okay, going. And they've got like surfaces all over the place. So we have like, breakfast. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Look at the current lineup, whatever. And then they're like, once we get it down to the breakfast, they're like, are you ready? I'm like, ready for what? And so like they take us, the secret door, it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And yeah, so we go into this back room, and I'll put a picture in the Front End Fire Discord channel. And they've got like a dissected laptop, in the middle of the room, and you got the product designer who's like going through the whole thing, and they've got this like display where they can inject, smoke onto the back of the thing, and you can see it go through the fans and stuff, and then they go through all the graph, and everybody's got their spiel, and I'm sitting there thinking like, have these people been waiting in this room for us, for Brita and me, for
and
I
these
feel
are
bad for these people.
This is a group of developers, right? That's going into this.
Yes, I think a lot of these folks are like product managers. But the guy that showed us the hardware for this thing, which was impressive, by the way, let me give I'll do that in a segment. I actually think like this was one of the guys that designed this hardware, and then so he's a freaking genius. Like he's going over all like the specs and the measurement and stuff. I'm like, this guy knows his stuff. Like he's serious, and I'm like, and then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna need to go to San Francisco and to get trapped in a black box for like 2 days. Like, what? But okay, I guess that's my job now. I was building and designing laptops, and now I'm stuck in a black box, telling people who don't know any better like the different like micrometer variations in like surface texture. Anyway, so this ultra surface laptop is a heck of a thing. It's got like this new NVIDIA GPU or NPU maybe for like doing large AI workloads. It has 128 gigabytes of unified memory, which means that like literally the GPU and the CPU can share and kind of distribute memory between the two of them, which is pretty cool. And it's a badass. But it's also, I'm sure, I don't even know how much this thing's going to cost. I don't think it's out yet. But like the CNET review that I saw on it later is like the memory alone, like 128 gigs, it's stock. Yeah, that's all you get. 128 gigs. There's no more, no less. 128 gigs. It's like $1,800 on its own. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this thing ain't gonna be cheap. But I gotta say, for the like maybe 30 seconds or so, I was like, wow. I don't know, maybe I want one of these. But then I'm like, it runs Windows, so no, I don't want one of these. And then they had like another like black box thing. It's like an external GPU. There's even more cores and more stuff. So basically the whole gist of this thing is Microsoft realized that the future is in running local models. It's going to be local models. It's going to be
they think the future is in running local models.
I think, yeah, okay. I think they're right. We can have a debate about that. But I think it's going to be a combo where it's going to be like you're going to have like the frontier models in the cloud are going to like tell your little agents running on your machine what to do and whatever. But anyway, TJ's like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to have the full conversation another time.
Maybe you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. No one knows the future. I'm skeptical that local AI is going to catch on in the near future. Maybe 5 years from now, sure, but I'm skeptical. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So the next story I have for you is that I got nerd sniped real hard by a follower of ours. So a fan of the show met me at, she's an analyst, I'm a creator, so they're kind of shuttling us together, because analysts and creators are kind of, royalty in this space or whatever. Anyway, she's like, oh, I love the show. I love TJ, I love Paige, and then we're in that kind of green room later, and she's showing me her site, which is like Visual Haggard. There's an author by the name of something Haggard. I can't remember what his first name is, but he wrote all the books of Alan Quatermain, and that ended up becoming the inspiration for Indiana Jones. And it's like this whole pulp series, and she's all into the art behind it. And so she was showing me the site, and then we were kind of talking about it. And of course, like I basically went back to the hotel and just completely rewrote the site and added all kinds of AI stuff and got nerd sniped real hard on that. So maybe by the time that you see this, I'll put up a Netlify site that is like the next generation of the Visual Haggard site, because it turned out actually pretty cool. Like I did like a whole video generation thing, and I'd never done that before, and it turned out really cool. So
awesome.
And then the third thing is that they've got they released a whole bunch of new AI models. So they released MAI models. So they've released an intelligence model, a coding model, text to speech, speech to text, image, photo, and real time. And that was the keynote. They kind of showed all of those, and all of them are like kicking ass on all the benchmarks, and first or second and all the benchmarks, and yada yada yada. And all of them have clean data sourcing, so they're all they know the provenance on everything. They didn't steal anything. I will say that the reality is slightly different than the hype there. Like the text to speech and speech to text, they're available today. The real time won't be available for weeks, months, maybe. I don't know. The intelligence engine is behind like a wait list, and the coding stuff. And I thought this is kind of the interesting part was the coding model is never going to be available public, like through an API, which I thought was really interesting. It's going to be restricted to VS Code only. And it's kind of like, is that I'm thinking to myself, is that like a way to like lock people into VS Code? Are they like trying to claw back people from Cursor?
Well, and
I
these
wonder.
are all of these are local models as well, right? Or at least that's
No,
their
I don't think
intent.
so.
Oh, no? Okay.
I
These
think
are
they're all
ones you run
cloud.
in the cloud. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think there's Flash versions of like text to speech and the speech to text, which would be I think maybe small enough to be local. But the ones that I saw were all cloud and very impressive, by the way. But I mean, I
Maybe.
just wonder if they're trying to bring back people with VS Code.
Yeah, I mean, that has always, I think, been a complaint since the beginning is that Copilot was not as good as other models that were available. So, yeah, maybe that is them trying to make a push back into the market and get more share.
I mean, it's super an odd thing, right? That like you've got Microsoft who makes and maintains VS Code, and then you've got a bunch of companies who are founded on this that are valued in billions of dollars. And it's like, I mean, you have to wonder if Microsoft's just like, but what, it's
Yeah.
our
And
stuff. Like,
they were also
what is,
first. I
what?
mean, GitHub Copilot was the first in this world. It was the first
Yeah.
AI tool that most of us were using, and they've kind of gotten lapped by the competition. And it's interesting to see some of the things that they're doing to try to claw back in. And yeah, this is another thing where I'm just skeptical of. I don't associate Microsoft with high quality models for better or worse. So I'm going to approach this with a bit of skepticism also, but at the same time, I mean, I love trying all of these things. So when it does become available, I'm sure I will dig in.
Yeah. But I gotta say, like, how long has the world of models been around? You know,
Yeah,
really,
we're in
like,
new territory for
we're
sure.
in year 3 or whatever of all this. It's like there's not a lot of history in that history. Yeah.
But it sounds like a cool event overall. I mean, I Build is quite the whole shindig. There's a lot of people. So for anybody that hasn't went before, if you do get a chance, I'd recommend it just only for the spectacle at least once, because you don't realize how many Microsoft developers there are out there until you see a whole bunch of them in one room.
I gotta say though, like so many actual Microsoft people / GitHub people, it's Mac, man. It's like it's Mac. Like
Yeah.
like all the guys that work on AI when they came by to see us and do a little demo in the green room,
They're
all
carrying
Mac.
Macs. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm like, why is it in 2026 that Microsoft just can't be like, hey, we're gonna do Windows, I don't know, Z, whatever. And it's going to be like basically Linux, and then it's going to be a Windows emulation layer on top of it. And so if you want your C:\/ nonsense from 1982, you can have it, you know. But if you're like, if you've got half a working brain cell, like you can use a real file system and real utilities, because like part of the big Prezo keynote thing was, hey, we're adding, grep and awk and sed and blah, 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 blah to Windows. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want grep.exe. I don't want awk.exe. I just want awk, and I want it on Linux. Like I want it on a Unix. I want it on a star X, like whatever. I mean, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. Like you can emulate Windows. Like you can do this. Parallels does this. Sorry, my little whinge there. As I say, I'm on 4 hours of sleep, so get what you get.
I'm with you though. Like I've toyed back into Windows, but even all of these emulated terminal things, the Linux subsystem for Windows or whatever, it's still too much hassle for me.
Oh yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah. WSL2. But if you're on if you have to be on Windows, get WSL2 for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any lightning news this week?
We
Oh,
have
yes.
a bunch.
Okay, let's go. All right. I'll kick us off actually on lightning news. Cloudflare bought VoidZero.
I
Da-da-da.
What?
just saw this
Yeah.
in your message in Discord here a minute ago was the first time I'm hearing this.
What?
Well, it just broke like hours ago.
Oh, okay.
So Yeah, we probably
Yeah.
could have led the show with this. Honestly, if I had saw this earlier. So,
Yeah.
but wow, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it makes sense. Like Cloudflare keeps coming up on the show. They care about this world a whole lot. VoidZero, makers of Vite Plus, a bunch of other tooling. It just feels very, very logical, but still kind of big news that this is actually happening.
Big, but also like
Yeah,
more
I mean,
consolidation, right? Like,
it is. Cloudflare is just buying up everybody who's doing open source software of different
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah.
But wasn't this the whole purpose of Vite Plus, was to fund VoidZero so they could continue to be,
Well,
Independent.
their own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, remember though that we've talked on the show several times about how we were quite skeptical of their monetization strategy over at VoidZero because it was Vite Plus. Then they kind of walked away from Vite Plus because they had their whole cloud thing that Jack saw the presentation of, and that we were very skeptical of as well. And so this seems just like a logical outcome. I mean, this seems to be the only real outcome in the dev world, right? Like Bun had no
That's
strategy,
right.
but they were just a useful tool, and then they got acquired. And then VoidZero, same sort of thing with Cloudflare. So
But
really,
are
yeah.
we in a world now where you can literally count? Like, I mean, we did that front end fire episode. Like, can you count the number of front end fires of a company? It's like, oh, this company is going to last 100 front end fires, which is probably where this
Yeah,
lasted.
I think we are. We could probably chart back in time, but
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like,
it
When
seems
we
like the
first
model
talked
is
about it,
we sure
when they
it was
partnered with
announced,
Cloudflare,
right? And now it's acquired.
yeah,
It's like, okay.
now they're
And
bought.
I'm sure it's like, I don't know, billions of
well,
dollars or some such stuff.
and we joked also because when Bun was acquired by Anthropic, we had said, why even bother with having a monetization strategy? All you have to do is be really good and become a dependency for enough
Yeah.
important people that somebody will eventually write you a big check. And that totally seems to be what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, quick thought on that. So the Bun Zig to Rust thing.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
apparently that's another thing. They rolled that out into Claude. So that or not Claude internally. And Jared says there's been no issues around it. So, we talk about new languages. It's like if you can port all of Bun, over to that and get it deployed in like in two front end fires, like what why is language choice important now?
I'm skimming through the blog post. I don't see any financial terms being disclosed, which isn't surprising. There is a note in here that Cloudflare is committing $1 million to an independent Vite ecosystem fund to support open source maintainers and contributors. So that's kind of interesting. That's
How much?
like $1 million.
Oh God, it's like
Piddly.
that's
Piddly
piddly
amount.
nowadays.
Yeah. Sounds like it's just there's no further description in here that I can see, so it kind of sounds like it's like a open source slush fund of some sort. I don't know.
we found $1 million in the couch over in
Yeah.
over in the rec room. Here, have it. You little rascals.
Okay, no, okay, I'm sorry. This is the downside of getting breaking news live. They do say that it's for the Vite Ecosystem Fund, and it'll support community maintainers and contributors who are independent of both VoidZero and Cloudflare. So it sounds like their way, at least the way I read that, is that there are community people that have
didn't get
given to the project but aren't
deal.
directly associated, so they're not benefiting from the windfall of this acquisition. And this is like their way of throwing those people a bone, and that seems like a good gesture.
Here's $20. Thanks for your contributions that helped us so much.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know,
having
man.
Claude write an algorithm for how to distribute that, to like based off commit history. I don't really know.
It's like, if I'm a good open source contributor and I spent a lot of time working on a feature for Vite, and it got in and they were really, it's a big thing for them. They did a big promo, but I wasn't part of the company. And then they get billions of dollars and I get like a, $50,000 check. I'm going to be like, yo,
Yeah.
Yeah. Not cool.
not cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still cash that $50,000
Oh, hell
check, though.
Oh, heck yeah. But, yeah. All
But
right.
still.
More lightning news.
Yes. So, since we talk about this every week as well, there is a new NPM attack that has happened. Shai Hulud is back or continuing its rampage through the ecosystem. This week, it was Red Hat that got hacked. And Red Hat is a big one, a very, very big one. So there were 30 packages that were affected, most likely through the compromised credentials. Apparently, the trusted publishing went out for these packages. So yeah, somebody's creds got stolen for that to be the way that it happened. It works like all the other malware worms. So it's stealing GitHub Action secrets, NPM tokens, Kubernetes and Vault material. And within hours, all of the packages were taken down. Red Hat did say that all of the packages that were compromised are intended for internal development only. So maybe if you weren't working for them or working with any of those packages, you're probably fine.
That's a weird attack vector.
Extremely. But I mean, these attackers, they don't really care who they're compromising or how.
Yeah, I think it's just some because they might have through this attack gotten access because presumably there's some people at Red Hat who work on other open source projects. So maybe they got some of them and got their credentials, and then the worm can just continue spreading. They, like Paige said, they're indiscriminate. They're just gonna. It's just it might even be automated at this point from the people behind running these things. Just try to get credentials, try to compromise, go from there.
And I don't know how many new Red Hat servers are spun up per day, kind of thing. I mean, if you're you'd have to get into a release, and then you'd have to get the thing. So yeah, this is probably you're right.
Here's the most interesting thing that was included at the end of this article that we linked to is that the Shai Hulud malware was actually released last month as open source software by a team called Team PCP. So now anybody and they challenged other malware and hacker groups to see how big of an attack they could use it for, or they could make an impact with. So this is the kind of stuff that is happening on the internet now.
Yeah. Well, and even if they didn't publish this, I mean, I don't know if Claude and OpenAI, Codex, Gemini, etc., would stop people from doing this. Like, I feel like if I went to Claude right now and said, I want to orchestrate, or maybe I just want to learn more about how these attacks were done, I feel like there's a good chance I could walk Claude through creating an attack like this or attempting to do this. So
I agree.
It's the cat is out of the bag. Really, all you can do at this point is it's a mitigation thing. If you maintain NPM packages, look into some of the staged publishing and the two-factor auth that we've talked about on previous episodes of the show. If you download NPM packages, which if you're listening to the show, you almost certainly do, look into the security settings so that you don't either use PNPM or use NPM. Look at their settings for how to not trust a published package for at least a day or two, because if you had those settings, you'd be prevented from this one as well, because they did catch it, so they did remove it within a reasonable number of hours. So you just have to assume that everything you're going to use is potentially compromised and react accordingly.
I'd say use a trusted pipeline provider. If you don't want to build your own pipeline, there's a couple. There's a good one from Google for about doing this stuff. So don't write it on your own, because you'll mess it up. Okay, more lightning. All right.
So Anthropic released within the last day or so a warning, basically, that they would like everybody who is doing AI development to slow down, because they feel like systems have gotten to the point where they could almost be self-healing and they could do things without human intervention. And we're reaching the point where it could be really dangerous for the rest of the world. And this is things that we've heard from them before. This is not the first time that they have said, hey, we need to pump the brakes. And then they released Mythos and Glasswing.
And then it went IPO.
Exactly. And now they're about to IPO for trillions of dollars.
For people not on YouTube, my eyes are rolling very far into the back of my head right now.
Yeah. This is very much Anthropic.
You gotta pump the brakes with all this development stuff.
Yeah, Anthropic is the boy who cried wolf when it comes to AI danger stuff. Like, oh no, our AI is so powerful. I mean, there might be some truth behind this, but the thing is, they go to this well so often that it just makes it hard to take their announcements like this seriously.
Well, and it's just everybody knows it's not going to happen. There is no
Yeah.
agreement amongst anyone in any country or company even about how to use AI and how to keep developing it or anything. So it's just useless that they're saying this. Honestly, they're just drumming up more press for themselves. That's what this feels like.
Yep. Yeah. And yes, we just leave it at that. It's
I was
yeah.
I actually thought that there's two ways you could go with this. There's one which is, I guess, the way that they did go with this, which is kind of like we're worried about, I guess, the software ecosystem stability, blah 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 blah. But there's also like the human cost thing. Like I actually, when I was at Microsoft Build, I talked with a bunch of developers, and just as almost invariably, we would end up in a couple of minutes talking about how more tired we were as developers, and how the context switching between agents and yada 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 was this huge overload, and nobody solved it. And while it's this weird thing where, while we should be more productive but also less stressed, we're actually just about as productive or maybe a little bit more, and kind
More
of
stressed.
very, very stressed because,
Yeah.
all we're doing is basically air traffic control, project management, and that's not our jam. We're not, that's a different muscle. That's like long distance running versus sprinting, just different muscles, and we're not there. So I kind of bummed actually that wasn't what Anthropic was talking about, because,
No, Anthropic doesn't care about
they
developer
don't care
health
about
or
you,
people.
whatever.
No. They're
Yeah.
just like, we're going to set off some nuclear codes without people knowing about it.
Oh my
All
God.
right. I feel like we need a palate cleanser. So for our final lightning news item, I have a headline for both of you. The headline
here we go.
is: Police have yet to catch a thief who used a Waymo to steal yoga clothes.
I love it.
The most San Francisco headline that's ever been.
Yeah, this is like San Francisco's equivalent to Florida Man, I feel like, because it's just perfect. But apparently, quote, the burglar took a Waymo to a San Francisco yoga studio, robbed the place blind, and then exited via the same robo-taxi, according to security footage. Waymo turned over the suspect's account information to authorities, but it didn't lead the police anywhere useful. Interestingly, authorities weren't able to get interior footage of the ride itself, because even though Waymo vehicles record everything, they don't hold on to that footage forever. Reports have indicated that when the cops filed a search warrant in April, it was already gone. So this yoga theft got away with it, or is still on the loose, which is wild to me that that's even possible. But apparently it worked for them.
And I love the target too. I'm sorry, but like, yoga stuff
Yeah.
is so wildly overpriced. It's like, here's, some tights for like $150, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a burglar, and I'm just going to casually Waymo over to my yoga studio, take everything that I can, get back into my Waymo, and off I go.
Do a couple of sutras,
Right.
on the way out. Here's my flying tiger pose. See ya.
This
Bye.
article also notes that this is apparently the second known case of when somebody used a Waymo to commit a crime. However, the previous incident, when someone used one of the company's vehicles as a getaway car after robbing a grocery store, that person was caught almost immediately. So this isn't a foolproof robbery scheme, but one person did get away with it.
I do have some Waymo news, weirdly related. So, like, I was just in San Francisco, just took a couple Waymos, and once you start using them as more like just kind of your standard way to get around, there are somewhat more inconvenient. Like, you got to walk to the pickup spot and random kind of weird stuff. But I wanted to go to a friend's house. Friend's house didn't cover that, so I took a Lyft. And I was talking to the Lyft driver, who was like, okay, I had nothing good to say about Waymos, of course. But there's two things. One, they're going from those like spinnery kind of things, that white cars, all the spin gadgets all over, to the more boxy kind of, like, I don't know, like a box on wheels type deal. It's pretty ugly.
Well, those are custom built Waymos, right? Because they've been using Jaguar cars up till now for testing.
Yeah. So
So they've got their custom boxes.
maybe it'll be an aftermarket and really weird, tricked out Jaguars. Who knows? And then the other thing was he was talking about how apparently Waymos get vandalized a lot. Like people, like Waymos get stuck sometimes, and people will literally like just break their way out of the Waymo. You know, kind of smash the windows and things, and other kind of vandalization. So I mean, all the Waymos that I got in were nice and clean and whatever. But like, you know, although I did notice that like a couple, I would say every Waymo that I took, there was one where it's like our service folk are basically something. I think it meant that somebody was taking over driving the car. You know? Yeah,
Interesting.
Like, it was like we're getting you back on the road kind of thing, you know. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, maybe. And the car felt like slightly different when that was happening. You know, a little bit more aggressive. You know, maybe that's like. You know, oh, good. Okay, we're going now. Human.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if I'd want to remotely drive a car. I know that this is a thing that exists, but that would make me very nervous. There's something about being physically there that
it's different.
You can give me all the sensors in the world. I don't think I'd be comfortable doing that.
Yeah, but you know, you're not like an Xbox kid from like, you know, 2010 who's like, you know, I've been remote driving like, you know, whatever.
Since been 12, an energy drink.
Yeah, GTA, you know, for years. Like, I'm gonna drive a real car. Oh, what? Let's go. All right. So, we good with lightning news?
I think that is it.
Okay. Wow. It's been a good one this week. So, let's talk. You know, let's talk about what's making us happy.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, TJ, I've got my notepad set up for my wife here for what's making us happy this week, because it's the one thing that she wants to know from this show. So what's making you happy this week?
Well, this week, I mean, unless she's really into Claude Code, which, you know, she might be, but I have resurrected my Claude Code buddy. And for those of you on YouTube, I'm holding up my mushroom. I don't think it's going to zoom. This thing is tiny, so I don't think you're actually going to be able to see it. Like, I'll hold it up to my hand so you can see that there's not much to this screen. But the news here is that Anthropic on their GitHub published quite randomly. They didn't make much noise about this. It's on Anthropic/Claude-desktop-buddy. If you want to check it out, there'll be a link in the show notes. But it's an ESP32 project for getting your buddy working on a separate microcontroller. Now, the way this works is weird. I did not believe this existed until I got it working. It integrates with the Claude desktop app. So it does not work with Claude Code that you run through the terminal. If you want it to work, you have to run Claude Code through the desktop app or use Claude Cowork or just the Claude desktop app as usual. And in there, you have to enable developer mode. So you have to say you're a developer. And that enables this Bluetooth protocol where it talks to this microcontroller over Bluetooth. And what you can do with it is not a whole lot, but you can instantiate your buddy. So I got my little buddy here on little screen. There are 18 different buddies, and you can just pick, so it doesn't assign you one as random. And I went with the mushroom because my previous buddy, Bramble, was a mushroom. So I had to go back to my mushroom friend. And then once you have it set up, what you can do is there's two buttons on this. And when Claude Desktop or Claude Code running through Claude Desktop needs to prompt you for permissions, you can use your buddy to approve or deny those permissions. So it'll pop up on here. It'll pop up and say, hey, it'll explain what it needs permissions for. And then you either press to approve it or deny it. And that is the extent of all this thing can do. It is so random that this exists. I don't understand why. I can only assume that maybe this is either just some developer's side project and they convinced some project manager to actually put it into the Claude desktop app. It's either that or they have some grander vision of what this is eventually going to become. And then this is like the prototype thing that they're just putting out for people that want to hack on it. But I don't know. I love my Claude Code buddy, so of course I got it running. I was using it yesterday. I would use it more if Claude Code from the terminal integrated with it.
Yeah.
I would use it all the time if that were the case. But I still think it's cool that it exists, and I'll be following along and keeping everybody up to date with anything that happens with this thing.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I bet it was just somebody's side project that they coded up in no time and were like, hey, look what I could do. And yeah, somebody greenlit it.
But it has a menu item in the Claude desktop app. And I mean, this is
Wait,
right.
what?
Like, so yes, it's a thing. It's got a whole dialogue that pops up.
Lord. Okay.
And so, I mean, you do have to enter developer mode to see it. So I think that's part of why this got greenlit, is because if it's behind developer mode, only a handful of people are going to see it anyways. But still, it's crazy, but it's also fun. I love little experiments like this. And if you want to try it out for yourself, so you need a microcontroller, an ESP32 based microcontroller with a screen. They recommend this M5 Stick Plus thing. I was able to find it for $20 some. There was also a ton to ship, so it cost me almost $40 at the end of the day for this tiny little thing. I think it's worth it. You can also, if you want to hack on it, because there is just a Bluetooth protocol behind this, so you can hack around that protocol to try to get it to do other things or build your own integrations behind this, because really you just need a Bluetooth thing that listens for these prompts for approve and deny, and then you need to send back according to their documented protocol. So you could get hackery around this too if that's something you want to do. But FYI, this whole thing exists, and it's so random and so weird.
All right. So my summary for my wife was geeky AF, gizmo for monitoring AI coding stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, there you go. All right, Paige, what do you got?
Yeah, mine's much more accessible.
Okay.
It is the For All Mankind television series that's on Apple TV. I think that the 5th season recently came out and is done, and so my husband and I have been rewatching from season 1 because we forgot a lot of what happened between seasons.
Yeah, as you
and
do.
it's
There
just-
seems like it's a long delta between the seasons on that one.
Yeah.
And it's
And
still
it's
the
just really
same
good.
old
Like,
white dude.
I don't mind rewatching it because it is so interesting to imagine where we would be in our development and our history if we had kept going in outer space, and if the US had lost the space race initially to the Soviet Union, and if a whole bunch of stuff had just turned out differently than it did. But yeah, it's just super fun to watch. It's so interesting. Like, even though they're all talking about spacey, really complicated stuff, it still is accessible enough that you can follow along if you're not in that world. And it's really dramatic for outer space, like colonizing the moon and colonizing Mars, and how are we going to get there? And oh, our rockets, something went wrong. We've got to figure out how to fix it in space or on another planet years away. So yeah, it's been really fun to watch. It's just really high quality everything, and it's a very fun, dramatic show if you're looking for outer spacey type content.
Can I disagree slightly? Like I really enjoyed the first 3 seasons of this, but the last 2 have been this weird, like, just all about like kind of like unionization / trade policy stuff, and it's like I need the space stuff. Go do more space stuff. Like this
Okay.
last season has been. They finally decided to, like, oh, we're gonna go to this moon and go and look for life, and they really never explained why life is important. But okay, and that was like that was some cool space action. But it just like the last 2 seasons just haven't, like, I get where you're going. First 3 seasons were great, like lots of like, oh, how are we gonna fix this space, blah 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 blah. But the last 2 seasons have been like, I don't know, man, like a courtroom drama or something. Yeah.
All right, so we're still in season 3 rewatching.
Oh,
so
whoops, my bad.
I
Sorry.
can't.
Okay.
I mean, I can't quite remember.
It's great all the way through. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Okay.
That's all right.
This show has come up before. I think this is another one we need to measure in front end fires since previous seasons were picked on this show. I wonder how many seasons of this show we've picked over the years we've been doing this.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Well, so yeah, what's making me happy is a crazy custom swag box from from Microsoft.
The swag bags you're just complaining about?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We'll
It's
complain
kind
about
like
some
I've
of it, I
never
guess.
gotten one
Yeah.
before. Like I was always a kid picked last on the dodgeball team, so like it's fun. Like they get a monogram jacket, and that thing, feels kind of special. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I really haven't done much over the last, like I mean, I was mostly at a conference, and then getting nerd sniped by Kate into building this, visual haggard thing. So I haven't done much, but no, it was fun. It was like there was so let me just say what else was in there. Yeah, they got the Tetris game, a Labubu. I've never had a Labubu before. I do all Labubus have it's like some sort of electronics. This one has electronics in it.
I
I
didn't think so.
I'm
Okay.
not the right person to ask. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's got 4 AA batteries. So it's got some sort
Whoa,
of thing.
that's a lot of juice for those
Six
Labubus
volts.
aren't big. Yeah, but like I guess like a lot of physical size. Like how Labubus aren't big, right?
Okay,
Like,
all right. Well, I haven't even opened it yet. I will open said Labubu.
You have to tell us what
Somebody
it
will open
does.
said Labubu, and I
yeah,
will.
we might need a report back on this thing.
Oh yeah. A keyboard. A wireless keyboard that looks pretty cool. It's kind of like like more of a kid's keyboard, kind of like portable sort of thing. It's got like a case. What else is in there? Some San Francisco swag, SF hat, and then a whole bunch of food. Like random food items, and no, it was like it's pretty, and then of course it all comes in this like massive Pelican case that has the kind of interesting like Xbox coloring. It's got like it's jet black the case, but all the clips and stuff and the handle are all in that kind of neon Xbox green thing. It just kind of makes it stand out. So if I
Wow.
ever use this for anything other than storing tools, which is probably what's going to end up being used for, it will, it'll stand out. Certainly coming off the conveyor belt.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
everybody
think
can
put a
use a
lot of
storage
effort into
container
that.
though.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a thing like Pelican, like this whole.
Oh, they're indestructible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's plastic. It's just beefy plastic. So, yeah. All right. Well, yeah. This has been fun. So, yeah. Well, join us over on the Discord server. There's going to be lots of fun images and various Labubu slash. I don't even
Yeah,
know what
I'll
else I
share my
committed
buddy
to.
in there.
Yes,
for
exactly.
sure.
There
so
you
that
go.
so that people can see that. So
Yeah, you can tell Paige what you think about For All Mankind if I'm wrong. And, yeah, and thank you, Kate, for nerd sniping me on Visual Haggard. I'm interested in reading this Haggard guy because like I mean I like Indiana Jones and I didn't really know it was a book. I thought it was like just bespoke stuff.
yeah,
Turns out
I had no
it's a
idea.
book. Who knew? Okay, we will see you next week.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
See you then.